Huh. Now it's working. Interesting. I lost AV1 streaming on YouTube apparently. Oh well. Anyway, we're live. We'll be taking a look at Tales of Berseria Remastered. This is much more of a house cleaning remaster in terms of like making it available, not really offering so much to the table. But at the same time, I don't think we're really doing a lot here that's like you, if you want to get into the game, there's no reason you couldn't do the remaster. You know, there's no real advantage to the original. But we'll take a look into here. Let me make sure my layouts are correct here. So we pull up. The layouts are wrong. That's remastered. That's PS4. Right? Yes, that's correct. So anyway, yeah. Here we'll get into things. I'll lower my music. And turn this up. Let's see, where do I want to put us at the back of the title screen? Is PC only? No, remaster is everywhere. Well, remaster is PS5, Xbox, Switch 1, not a Switch 2 version. So we are once again with the Tales game. It is a Switch 1 version. So the Switch 2 version is locked to 30 FPS. Again, there is no separate Switch 2 version. There is no Switch 2 upgrade. Again. I need to add this to the title. Thank you to Bandai-Namco gave me a code for the game. So I'm able to show it off here. But yeah, a lot of the benefit here is that more or less the house cleaning, because Tales of Berseria originally released in 2017, right? It was a PS4 and a PS3 game. So it was there's a PS3 version, and we'll take a look at the PS3 version later. I actually have footage of it, but the PS3 version was Japan only. Otherwise, it was completely a PS4 game. So we're remastering a PS4 game. So what do we get with that? Higher resolution. Things are sharper and scaled for that. So with that, the more important thing is ultimately the game is available in Japanese outside of the console version, the PS4 version. The PC version was never available in Japan until now. So the idea is that it's at least accessible in more places, and you'll notice this has been a recurring theme lately of companies releasing PC versions of games that are even just re-releases, simply so that they are also on Steam in Japan. Many of these games were not on Steam in Japan before. Sometimes when they do that, they get separate listings for them, and then it can become confusing to find them. If there is more. Isn't the PS3 digital only here in the US? No, there's no English version of the PS3 version. No. PS1, Switch 1 is basically a port of the PS4 version. Close. It's 30 FPS, so it's like the PS3 version. Yeah, original PS3 version is 30 FPS. The Mikhail talks about it in his article, I believe, which is also pointed out, that the original game on PS4 was uncapped up to 60, but it wasn't consistent 60. On PS4 Pro and on PS5, it was more consistent 60. But the resolution wasn't higher or anything like that. It was just more consistent frame rates from the more powerful hardware. Yeah, it's a really exciting remaster. And the other thing to keep in mind, too, is that different companies handle all of these remasters for Bandai Namco. So this also has not taken away dev time or even budget from any of the other Tales remaster projects. This was just handed off to a team to essentially port the game into Unity, which, as far as I can see from the game files, that's what they did. This is a Unity port, which doesn't really have anything negative, like innate negative connotations or anything to it. It's just what they did. There is, let's see, I'm gonna catch up the remaster here just so we have some more 3D visuals to compare while I add this description.
On that day, the world began to change. Men and beasts possessed by evil spirits, hunting and killing anyone they could.
Let's see.
But even in
There.
the depths of despair, only two things matter to me.
Ultimately, and not ultimately, it is
Taste of blood-soaked flesh.
a more exciting proposition of a remaster for anyone who hasn't already played it. Have access to the OG source art.
Luffy, time to wake
That's
up.
a good question, and it gets a little weird because I think they did, yeah. But the thing is, everything was already pretty high resolution in the first place. Though I don't know, when I look at the and we'll see it when we look at pause this one. We'll see it when we look at
I'm afraid. At least the new
skits. The line art in the skits seems like a little upscaled rather than natural line art, but at the same time they're upscaling what was already really high resolution line art. So I mean, it looks cleaner. It's not too distracting. It's not, I don't think it's a huge deal. Just it's really, I don't think it's a huge deal just because the original game was already so high resolution enough. Though the more I've been looking at it, I'm not really sure if the game on PS4 was 1080p, just because the font is a little blurry, just a smidge. But at the same time, I look at the 3D graphics and I'm like, you're insane. That has to be 1080p, you know?
I'm sorry, Velvet. Whoa, hey, what's everyone
I'm like,
We're a family, right?
the font is the only reason I can tell right now. Like, the font resolution is the only way I can tell right now that I'm not looking at the same footage. You know, just repeated on both sides on accident. And you're gonna need an eye for it to literally even spot that. Also, the controllers. That also gives it away. Up until that point, I wouldn't have known which version I was looking at, just because we're so close. Again, it's about the accessibility of the game itself in literally being available in more regions.
Don't forget to take some gels with you.
The features...
I'll be fine. You just make sure.
The features that come with, like... Let me pull up the PC Gaming Wiki page here. Because there was a well-known Tales of Berseria quote-unquote fix by the Special K guy. Which, last I heard, he is retired, so I wouldn't... But Lyle is still very on top of things all in that sphere, so... I wouldn't worry about that anyway. It's 16:9 only. It's capped at 60 FPS. Smooth motion works fine on it though, if anyone wants to enable smooth motion on the game. I found that worked fine, but the 60 FPS was perfectly fine already anyway. Is Switch 30 or 60? Switch is 30.
Prickle boars. I'd better try the tranquil woods outside of town. This is for Luffy's medicine, so I can't mess this up.
Here, I want to rewind just so we can see the right outside here. I don't even know how I got so off here. Here, pause there. Bring it back here.
If I'm on the hunt for prickle boars, I'd better try the tranquil woods outside of town. This is for Luffy's medicine, so I can't mess this up.
I'm also looking for something about depth of field. I don't think they remove depth of field, I think, or bloom. I think it just ends up not being as strong or noticeable because of the higher resolution of the game. Here, I'm going through some settings here. Applause for killing it as Velvet. I was gonna say, this intro, I'm hesitating on skipping past some later parts of this prologue because they're really good. And so far the story is getting me to want to continue playing this game. We'll listen to the Japanese voice acting, which also it's a dual audio game.
Maybe he's just worn out.
I'm pretty sure the original was still dual audio.
Cook him up some prickle boar stew, just like
Playing on Switch 2, aside from probably stable frame rate, exactly, yeah. As far that and you know, that's just as far as we know. It would have been, what did the same thing what did I say with Grace's F when I showed it off?
Ever since the opening 7 years ago.
Since the menus were still 30 FPS, there was still some annoying like latency in the menus. Ultimately, it's really frustrating, and I would hope that they'll do something about not having Switch 2 versions. This is a pretty annoying trend so far. The remaster... Oh, I closed that. Oh, no, I went through it about that page, about the caveats of the original PC version, which really is just like... It works fine out of the box, so we're just talking like stuff like ultra-wide support or higher frame rates than... No, nothing brought the frame rate... Nothing has ever brought the frame rates higher than 60, actually.
It's good that my sister died? How can you say that?
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean it that way.
You're a real idiot, you know that? Sorry about him, Velvet.
Yeah, as I'm looking through this, yeah. No, it was just really for aspect ratio and resolution. Well, I think we'll have a more interesting like thing to show, at least when we visually compare to PS3. Just because it's interesting to also see the Japanese version. Which, speaking of, there was a cutscene at the end of the prologue, and it is literally highlighted from Bandai-Namco, was the only cutscene they had changed overseas. Which now it's the only the changed cutscene is the only way it is now. Where in Bandai-Namco back in 2017 was transparent about it, that they changed the scene essentially of a character being impaled was changed so that they're not explicitly getting impaled by a physical sword because of the rating laws, the rating guidelines for the other regions. So PEGI, they wanted to keep the game 16 and they would lose the rating if they kept the scene, so they changed it. That's like actually from Bandai Namco, their words on why they changed it, and they clarified it as back in 2017 that that's the only thing they ever changed for the game. If you care enough for it, the scene literally already has a restoration mod that was released like an hour ago, because it changes both the FMV and for a 3D model. Performs poorly on PlayStation. I wouldn't be surprised if it like, I don't think they're expecting it to perform. The expectation's got to be low because it's not really for anyone who already owns the original, unless you want to come back to it looking sharper, at least. or you come back and enjoy the complete grade shop, which, by the way, so the remaster does like the recent Tales remasters. It comes with the grade shop at the start. I showed it off before. What I noticed different is that it will let you access the grade shop mid-game as well. So you don't have to buy anything at the start of the grade shop. If you ever think about it, just completely ignore the grade shop when you start a new playthrough, because if you want to turn anything on later, you can literally still do that. There's nothing stopping you. Has a remaster compared to PC at its highest settings. The assets are higher resolution. Like the assets used are a higher resolution. So at the very least, if you were like me and you think like the font is a little blurry with how the PC version was before or how the game looked on PS4, you're gonna look at the PS5 or the PC version and see like the assets, like font and UI and everything is a lot sharper. Skit artwork, it's a lot sharper. It's higher resolution. In the remaster, all DLC is also included, except for licensed collaboration DLC, which is Idolmaster.
Right, here goes.
To my understanding, it's just Idolmaster. Co-op is still there. There was a setting in the original game when you did co-op and you looked through the control settings, it let you change which controller was which in the game settings, and in the remaster it does not do that, I think because they want you to use Steam to do it. Still at 60 FPS locked? Yes. Smooth motion works with it, but yeah, it's 60 FPS locked. I'm gonna keep using smooth motion when I play personally. It boosts it up to 120. But of course that's AI frame gen, so. Look at that fake frames. Just so it's a little smoother. Yeah, so if you try it out and you look at the grade shop, you don't even worry about anything because you could just simply get them later. Except for like that, there's a first option that can't be turned off because it has like a permanent effect. I think that's more or less a cheat one if I go back to it. What time are we at? 18 minutes in. Okay, so. Go back a little further here. When we go to, new game. Expanded item capacity. 15/30. So if you want to turn that one on at the start, you can't turn it off, but it is the only setting in the grade shop that's like that. Oh yeah, here are the outfits. I was going through the outfits and I redeemed just these two, just to show off the DLC is all included right out the gate. I'm gonna double check that though, because the code I had had DLC included. Let me see what that meant. It was not the outfits. Adventuring assistant set, growth herb set, digital art book and soundtrack, deluxe upgrade, battle background music pack, which I did show off. There was background battle music that you can set from like the whole series. Yeah, Velvet's character design is sick. I'm really excited to play more of this game, especially hearing that this one is more renowned for its story, even over gameplay. And seeing as how I'm like already into it and Velvet's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one right now. The slow PS4 save menus. Yeah, things like saving and loading are way faster now.
Maxim 3. Never waver once your sword is drawn. Control your feelings.
What was I gonna look at? DLC for the original. Oh yeah, so any of the Here's the other thing too, is the original game on Steam has not been on sale for quite a while now. They've deliberately kept it off sale, and the remaster's already $10 cheaper. It might even become, like, go on sale. And then it includes all that outfit DLC too, that you would still have to pay for in the original version. So that's what I mean, like, there's... If you haven't bought it before, it's a package. If you've already played Tales of Berseria, I think maybe that grade shop would be appealing. But then again, you get that from New Game Plus. But it is higher resolution, at the very least. More than Tales of Arise. I could see that. I'm excited to go through it. I look at this, and this was the one before Arise, right? And it's like, man, I really like it when Bandai Namco does their own engine. And apparently Bandai Namco is working on their own new engine. I've been hearing about. And I'm excited for that. I hope that gets some use somewhere.
An exorcist art.
Pride and anxiety, pity for the enemy, thrill of victory. Your emotions run.
This is just something about Arise that I don't know. It feels like they like were really figuring out what the tools they were using to make the Tales games work. Like they figured everything out, but then they moved to Unreal for Arise. Original PC not go up to 4K. It does, but the assets for it are not upscaled properly for it.
Arthur's fourth maxim.
So it does. And as far as I'm looking at the footage here, I'm thinking, yeah, it'll probably even render fine. But the assets like UI and menus and everything are not gonna look as good on a 4K display.
Head out where?
The person I was supposed to meet is late. I don't think I'll be home.
For a story arc arrive, but it falls off later. Yep, same.
You'll have to pick up
Yep.
medicine yourself.
Right.
One more thing. I saw a group of demons near.
I think I answered the big questions about why would you even buy this or what the consideration is there.
I can handle a bunch of.
Why we released this in the first place.
By those with the talent for exorcism.
I'd buy a Switch 2 version. Let me tell you, we will be, if there is, at this point, with how many Switch 2 versions there are not, I will be back to stream them and buy them if they do release Switch 2 versions. We'll see. We'll just patiently wait for them to do it. I could at least understand that because they keep outsourcing all of these remasters, that's a different Switch 2 dev kit that has to go out to each dev. At the same time, come on, man. What you can do is like with Tales of Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia just had like uncapped that could go back to 30. Sorry about that peak there. So they should just like do it at that, like just like what they did with Vesperia, since that just like ends up working.
I'll make you a quiche, just the way she taught me.
And they use their own engine. Smash Ultimate. Smash Ultimate, Smash Wii U.
I wonder if those prickle boars were brothers. Maybe I should have let them go. But then
HDR option for OLED users. I don't know.
Took care of that. And it means food for us as well.
I haven't not looked or heard anything about it. Last Tales game, not Bandai Namco game. It would be Berseria, right? Since Arise was Unreal, and all these ports use Unity. Emery Tales series entry. I think it feels like they should, because it feels like I'm noticing a consistent theme with this series in particular, where they keep like butting heads on the vision and then with the ratings board. It feels like they could just bypass a lot of things targeting a mature audience. So they don't have to worry about that, you know? Berseria was made in Unity. The remaster is, but when I look at the files for the original version on PC, I don't really see Unity files there. That doesn't mean it can't be, though. But it was still a PS3 game, and then it still feels like it's building off of the tools they were using since Symphonia, Vesperia, somewhere in there.
For the pretty girl.
Huh? Oh, you two need something?
I'm fine, Nico. I'm just here to pick up medicine for Laffy said.
Let me see if that's like known and listed anywhere. Like if you look at Wikipedia.
I'm afraid the medicine hasn't come in yet.
Unity for the remaster.
Why not? Is it because of the demon?
Seems like the demon blight's really taking a toll on the city. There's even a group of them lurking around.
The Tales players in other regions are adults. Right.
When's it coming then?
I can't say. And I don't know how much it will cost.
We were getting at this the other stream with talking about how Pokemon has managed like a now pretty unprecedented appeal across so many generations just because they are still one of the only IPs that can, at the cost of quality of the games, probably, I would argue, they can still release multiple games within one person's childhood. No other IP is doing that anymore, really. So things like Dragon Quest are losing that appeal. And that's just, you know, how it goes.
You didn't forget, did you?
You promised to teach me how to make your special quiche. You mean for that apprentice animal doctor you have?
I've been letting the game run in the background here.
Serious?
This is life or death for me. But I thought your folks
Have I mentioned the depth of field? I want to look back at that now.
Here's what people think. The important thing is my feelings.
There's still depth of field there. It's just really toned down.
Boy, I think I'd be in love.
Darn
Oh
right.
man, actually. Yeah, it's there, but it's like really toned down.
Laffy must be starving by now. I better hurry home.
Maybe it's not a resolution thing. I don't know. I guess it's pretty damn noticeably turned down, like a little bit in bloom and a little bit of depth of field. And that I was thinking that was more like due to resolution because you do see it between the PS3 and PS4. That's why I think that. Let me time this up here.
Hi, Celica. I'm back. I can't believe it's been 7 years since.
Anti-aliasing improved. It is the same options from the original. I think it does look better, but it is like the same, literally the same graphics options.
I know how much you, Mom, and Dad
Depth of field. If it's,
and I know
I don't have as much of a problem with depth of field as I do like
I'll pick some from the Cape tomorrow.
chromatic aberration or lens distortion. Those are way more annoying to me. Depth of field can be an important focus trick. Chromatic aberration and lens distortions are mistakes of the lens.
Welcome home, Velvet. Laffy, I told you to stay in bed.
So they bother me more.
I was
From a film background, they bother me more being replicated in games.
Look, your fever hasn't gone down a bit. Go lie down.
Depth of field can be conceptually simple to not screw up. Motion blur is fine if it's done on like a per object basis.
It uses a magnet to tell you which way you're facing. Woohoo! You can use the sun and stars for that.
Mentioned it's on
And what will you
PS3.
do if it's cloudy, huh?
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely look at the, I still want to show like the PS3 footage, but I've done these streams enough times now to understand that people want to see this comparison first. So I might as well just open with what people want to see, and that's PS4 to the remaster.
Must have for any adventure. Can't you see how useful it is? You can tell me more about it.
Yeah, the original game on PS4 was up to 60, not consistent. If you're playing the PS4 version on PS4 Pro or PS5, it is more consistent in frame rate. The assets, I don't think it complement even 1080 as well. So at the very least, things are just a tad sharper. Yeah, things are sharper at least in the remaster, but that's about it in terms of like edging out over it. Otherwise, the important thing isn't even really how it looks. It's the fact that like all the DLC is included. The Japanese voices, I think both of them are dual audio. Yeah, the great shot being available right away and being accessible in more areas.
I want to go traveling with you.
Yeah, it was like this was a game like Yakuza 0 and like Persona 5 where they still had PS3 releases, and like Yakuza 0 it was only in Japan.
I wish I could do that.
Let's see. While I still have some time before I have to worry about skipping around, let me go through Mikhail's articles to see if there's anything of note he was also pointing out here. They're immediately linked right in the description too.
Oh yeah? You better
Yep,
prove it.
performances, base PS4, dressed just by the pro, more consistent.
Eat every last mouthful, even if you don't feel hungry.
Mhm.
And take your medicine, no matter how nasty it tastes. No tricks. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Renders at a higher resolution on PS5, no performance issues,
Cooking time.
and it loads much faster. The load times are also something else that gets pointed out and people have been mentioning. Quality of life improvements. Oh yeah, there are other quality of life improvements besides the grade chop too, because it has some of the other things that have been included in recent Tales games. Remasters, like the,
Could you not put any
they're automatically skip events you've seen.
You'll never grow
You
up
can
to
show a destination marker on the map, and what I see is not just that, but it shows it like physically in the world.
Fine.
Like as you're walking, you get to see
I'll
it.
cut out the spinach just
So
once.
more helpful UI.
Curry flavor you like.
There's an option, I believe, to just straight up turn off encounters, which was not there before.
Special curry spice upstairs.
You can immediately, what is it? Also the ability to immediately show all areas on the map, including locations you haven't visited before.
Poor kid's gonna
So it has interesting, like, quality of life things like that. That might be pushing it for quality of life. I don't think it, like, hurts whether or not you have that on or not. Something like that I do kind of like keeping off, just so,
There you go.
what is it?
But oh so delicious. Oh yeah.
You know where you've actually been.
And
But at
she
the
has
same
very
time, I
great
did
things
notice
to
that
talk about.
the treasure
She's coming
chests
over in the next couple
in the
days, so
original
you
game,
can
and
visit
we'll see it when I come up into this next area.
Glad you've got a good
Yeah.
When I go back into
Ever since
town,
forever.
it only shows treasure chests on the map
Falling in
after
love.
you've opened
I
them.
can barely wrap my head
And in the remaster,
Fluffy.
they're shown on the map regardless of whether you open them or not, so you know exactly where they are.
About it, right?
Graphic and performance-wise, the
Hmm, you're a
assets
stubborn
are higher
little
resolution, but the render
girl.
resolution's
Keep you
about
under
the same.
control. Oh, and she's gotta be
It kind of has an effect on depth of field and bloom, that's really it. And the performance is more consistent, 60.
You should be more
Unless you're on Switch, on Switch, and on Switch too, it's 30 FPS.
I've got enough on my mind. For
The
one
chest
thing,
cheat off?
I've got
That's a good question, because I wasn't sure which option it was tied to.
Besides, getting crushes on strange men, I just don't see what's so.
It shows the ending. Well, let's not go too far down the slippery slope. Let's see.
Are you all right? I'll bring you some water.
I'm
It's
fine.
really more about the features, but it's also
And it
like,
made me choke a bit.
As long as you're okay. Sorry.
the appeal really like would be if you haven't bought the original game already,
Future holds. Yeah.
or if you are like,
I do.
it does
I've
bother
got a
you.
duty to look after
The
my
game looked
brother,
different on
and
PC
I'm
than
sorry
original.
about it.
The assets are higher
I'm
resolution,
trying to look after you
Yeah.
too. I want you to be happy.
which means like text, font, and UI
It's not just
look
you.
sharper in the new
Arthur
PC
worries about
version.
you too.
Well, we're family, right?
Yeah. That's what families do.
If it would have to be something you would notice, it looks like how it does on PS4 on PC with the older version. So if you can see the text being
doing?
blurry compared to what's on the right, like I can, then it might bother you. I can understand that people might not see that level of like detail to it, but it is a little blurry. Insignificance from PS4 I see here, right? And we dig the remaster. As someone who has not played Berseria before, I'm excited to get into it. And I am glad I waited for the remaster because save files also don't transfer between the two. They're completely different save formats.
I did promise.
As far as I could tell, at least. When I looked in the save directory, the original ones are like uncompressed raw files, and then for the remaster, they're like properly organized per save.
Velvet, may I sleep next to you tonight?
Yeah, also the save times are better. And people are saying, yeah, those save times, I hate when games have you save on PS4 and PS3 and PS5 using the interface, using those interfaces. And yeah, the what is it? It takes longer on original PS4 hardware compared to saving on PS5 or just using the remaster on PS5.
Today, I've got to dress
The save times don't become an annoying issue.
Luffy.
It was new as fuck for a remaster. Yeah, at the current moment, yeah. The time gap now the time gap for when something should be remastered is just simply naturally expanding.
You better not
But again, one of the things was this remaster is the first time the game is available in Japan on PC. And so they did this remaster job instead of adding like a separate listing that was for Japan only that would have these differences anyway. Why is it so fast? The PS4, that's PS5 footage. Or that's PS4 version running on PS5. That's why.
Haven't seen him.
If you saw me save on the left.
Wait,
So we are
that's one of Arthur's.
not seeing how like, oh, that'll be good. Hold on, that'll be a good shot for shadow resolution.
Wait, that's one of Arthur.
I want to see that there. Yeah, not a graphically demanding game as well. That being said, look at RE9 doing 60 FPS on Switch 2. And it's not fair because there is no Switch 2 version of this one. But you're like come on, man.
Wait, that's one of Arthur's.
Actually, it's a copy that Laphicet made.
Oh, right, I was doing this so I could look at the map.
A smart merchant would pay a pretty penny for this book.
Here, we'll pop here until the UI shows back up.
Luffy, did he really copy all that by hand?
No power of Switch 2 base compared to base
He
PS4.
must have done it to buy that copy.
It should be more than capable of maintaining 60 FPS where the original PS4 couldn't.
Bad deal for me. He's a good lad, but not the merchant type.
Yeah, the anti-aliasing's better, at the least. I'll say that too.
I'm afraid my lips are sealed. You'll have to ask him.
Yes, okay, I could literally see the depth of field in the remaster. It is there, it is just toned way the fuck down with the depth of
Where'd you
field.
see him?
It's
He
really
was
toned
hiding in
down.
the forest. I'll help you look for him.
Same with the bloom, it's really toned down.
Do a sweep of the village, just in case. I'll check the forest.
Okay, so I wanted to do this so I can look at the map UI. Yeah, so that treasure chest at the bottom there, right?
I know.
If I just pause both of these, this treasure chest right here is immediately showing up. You can't see, there it goes. This treasure chest right here. I haven't opened it and it shows up. It is not visible in the original because I haven't opened it yet, and that's the difference there. And I don't
Might have gone to the cave
think you
alone.
can turn that off because I don't have the map discovery thing on. I think I don't have the skip those other features on. I do have the one that shows the UI, like the one that shows like the star right on the screen. You can see it's there in the remaster and it's not in the original.
Luffy! Velvet,
Done by different studios. Yeah. And that leads to some confusion where people would feel that this is taken away from a different game getting a remaster.
better than this, Luffy said.
Um,
Running off without telling
But it's
me.
really not because it's a whole separate team
You wouldn't be the
given
only
probably a
one
very
who
low
knows
budget that
this.
wasn't like there is not necessary money or like scope for this remaster in the first place, you know.
Just ask. afford to buy you all the things you want.
No, that's
So it's not like it's not wasting anyone's time necessarily. Like if that team wasn't doing this, they probably wouldn't be working on another Tales remaster. You know, that's what I mean. Like the Zillia team, yeah, probably working on Zillia too. But this one, if these guys weren't doing this team, they probably wouldn't have been doing another one anyway.
Fine. Just for today, though.
I would at this point, yeah, I sure hope the main Tales team is working on a new entry.
But next time you run off like that, I'm strapping you.
I really hope they get back to the older ones. I'm pretty interested in tackling those.
It's off to the Cape then. Hooray! Remember how we
And it
reached
would
out to
certainly
the
be nice
princess
too if
on the
they
morning of Selic-
decided to revisit Symphonia.
I was only 4, but I remember. We couldn't find any in the village or at the Cape.
Right, because the demons had made a mess of them, and then you suddenly started
Okay,
climbing
anything
down
else
the
here I
edge
want
of
to
the
say?
cliff.
You ran over and grabbed me. You had the scariest look on your face.
Of course I did. Do you have any idea what I'd do if I lost you too?
You'd still have Arthur. He'd help you.
It's very frustrating, but a part of the story I would like to skip for anyone who hasn't played this game, because this one does benefit from having
I'd still miss
a
you
more
if you
interesting
wouldn't
story.
I know.
Um,
I'm sorry, sis.
But down the
is
cliff,
where
you
the
were.
cutscene literally is that was changed from the very original
Remember?
Japanese version
Please, Kate.
to English version PS4 and this remaster.
Right.
But again, if anyone wasn't there when I was talking about it, it's a character like being impaled.
See a flower signifying-
That was changed from them being impaled with a
Irreplaceable treasure.
physical weapon
Wishes
to
for good health for years to come.
impaled by magic instead.
and that's
And they
something
changed,
that
and
makes
Bandai Namco was transparent about it back in 2017 about how they literally did it because of age rating boards. That was the sole reason for it, so that they could release the game in like PEGI territories at 16 age.
grated apples. Whenever I caught a cold when I was
And then nothing else has really changed in the game.
It's sweet and tart.
From Bandai Namco
Juicy
themselves,
and
nothing else has changed
eating
besides
it
that one
always made
scene.
me feel better.
Well, apples are good for you. But what does the boo mean?
When I was a baby, I would always say boo boo when I wanted to eat an apple.
Let's see.
So that's where the name comes from. Wait, you called apples boo-boo? You must have been a strange baby.
You used to
Oh,
do
I
the
did go
same
through this
thing.
already.
When Celica and I heard
Yeah,
you,
it's a Switch 1 game. There's no improvements, not really anything to speak of with the Switch 2 version. Yep, menus are capped at 30. But yeah, and I was saying straight up at this point, I will be back with a stream when they start doing Switch 2 versions. This is getting a little silly. I was trying to adjust the volume because the game's much louder. And Steam Deck reviews. Actually, Mikhail didn't have anything on that. Yeah, Switch 1 and Switch 2 impressions
Look at all these.
and screenshots and the articles. Whoa, God, the load times are way...
This place never changes.
The load times between...
It
Switch
doesn't
1 and Switch 2.
change. The seasons, the wind, the weather.
Oh, okay,
change
okay, I
more
see.
than the sea's totally different.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an
The
improvement.
same goes for what lies across the sea.
Okay, so...
Across the sea?
Yeah,
Sometimes I just don't know what you're talking about.
as long as it's stable and the frame pacing isn't wonky. It should be, right? It was only bothering me in Tales of Graces because the menus are capped at 30 and that just added like input latency you could feel. And I really feel for... I hate to get nitpicky like that, but for JRPGs, having like
Why it is that birds
really nice snappy menus and controls
Well,
feels really damn good.
catch food or escape from predators.
FF Steam combat being sped up. Yes, they fixed it while I was streaming it.
But you know,
Yeah.
I think there's
It was
more
really
to
funny.
than that. A
Yeah,
bird
literally while I was in the middle of streaming the GOG version, I look at Steam, and as somebody in chat told me to, and yeah, they already patched it by then. And the Star Force one. That one is coming up too, yeah.
Don't be scared. You can do it. You're going to be strong, like Arthur.
And also, yeah, the remaster, the other thing outside, at least for the PC version is concerned, because the original PS4 version's like $20. I don't know if it's been delisted now, but it was $20. I had to buy it earlier in the week. But the oh, what is it? On Steam, it's been $50 the whole time. The remaster is $40, and it includes all the DLC included with it at the cheaper price. And they have, I think, deliberately avoided putting the game on sale for a good while now because they knew they were going to be releasing this remaster. So their Tales of Berseria hasn't had like a good deal for a price on PC for a while until now, and they deliberately did that just so it was like nobody was buying it at the cheaper price or buying an on sale version of the original when they had a remaster in the works coming. PS4 OG version running on 30 only. No, PS4 version is uncapped up to 60. The PS4 version runs up to 60 FPS. It can struggle to maintain it. PS4 Pro and PS5 do it much more consistently. You won't have the same frame rate issues on PS4 Pro or PS5 with the original PS4 game. The only versions capped at 30 FPS is PS3 and Switch. This would be a good time to at least fast forward a bit, and it would be easier to do so from going this far in and going back. Just to when Velvet gets the outfit.
No. If you weren't there, there's no telling what might have happened to me.
That works.
I die like dog. Could collapse.
There we go.
It looks like they kept prisoners' effects in here.
That worked out pretty well.
This will be useful. Quite a blade.
PS3 could properly hit 60 on Berseria. It feels like well, I go back and forth on thinking of whether or not they were planning it for the PS4 or not from the start. Because then it feels like the resolution, the assets they had were still lower res on PS4 anyway. As if it were still going to be a PS3 game. Damn, I timed that better than I thought I did. Was it not 60 for combat? Nope. We'll take a look at it in a bit.
All right.
I have footage of the PS3 version. We'll look over it shortly. P3 on PC at 120, and the menus are at 60. You can really feel that. Yeah, I don't even think it's that the menus are 60, but they're animated at 60. Which is still, like, super frustrating because you could still see it. Especially when everything is so smooth otherwise.
I am his Moloch no longer.
This music is so droning on me because of how much I've been hearing in the last few days.
So you already know Island.
Yes. I've learned that this is a prison island for violent criminals, and that there are scores of demons locked away here. Demons say lots of things when they don't want you to eat them.
The prison has docks at both the front and rear entrances. Our ship is on the back side.
PS3 also 720. Yep.
Got it. The back docks.
She more pale? You really seeing that?
That's a special mass of
I'll have to
Moloch.
look back at the next
Think of them as
scene.
the souls belonging to a family of Malachim. They appeared all over after the Advent 3 years ago.
Another after effect of the Advent.
If you collect enough of them, you might be able to solicit the cooperation of the Malik family.
And I'm supposed to take your word for it?
I'm not forcing you to do anything. Whether you collect them or not is up to you.
I might as well pick them up.
Just see where I'm at. Switch to owners.
I'll use every tool at my disposal.
Looks like Steam Deck will support 60 FPS. Yeah, I was saying it was, Mikhail will probably have something on it tomorrow. I do know Mikhail's in the middle of some other stuff as well, which could very well also be why it wasn't right there in the article.
Guards coming. 2 of them.
This way.
You to do anything.
Oh, and let me rewind so I can get this cutscene timed.
I might as well pick them up. I'll use every tool at my disposal.
Indeed.
Let me see when I see this cutscene start. True, they forgot to include FF7 actual game in the patch for a moment. For a few minutes. Literally for a few minutes.
Guards coming. 2 of them.
This way.
I think it's just the toned down Bloom.
Did you hear? The path around the island is off limits now. They say the ground's weak and could collapse.
Like we were saying, the Bloom is kind of toned down, and the depth of field is toned down.
Nobody uses it anyway.
True.
Man, look at that wall texture, though.
A shortcut to the docks. Under the watchtower.
That's what I mean. Like, it feels like you know what it feels like? It's a texture pack. That's what it is. It's an HD texture pack. That's what it feels like. It's an HD texture pack that includes the font as well.
Understood. No one will get past us.
Stay sharp. The threat could be serious.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it can come down to not just preference, but also which one's closer to the original vision. We're kind of seeing that in MGS4, right? MGS4's
They should be on this.
incredible. Like, it's crazy. We're actually gonna get MGS4 on PC. In the footage they showed, oh, look at that outline's missing on her thing. Well, it's toned down. That's what I mean. Yeah, I feel like there's a case to like look at whether the original game was even 1080p. Just because there's like some resolution things that stick out. Yeah, now I'm looking at the outlines more. Same HP.
Here I come.
Is it interlacing? No.
I'll cut down anyone.
MGS4 shown on the other platforms in its remaster coming up looks like it's rendered at a higher internal resolution, and because of that, it affects how bloom and depth of field look. And that ends up altering what would have been the intended vision. But then it's how worried are we about nitpicking at that point? Depends how much it like really played into the original art style, and I guess at that point, yeah, if it's something you want, just have to prefer that in the remaster. I feel like losing something like that isn't as bad as like we were seeing the other day with FF7, the lost shadows in like battles between the PS1 version, the PC version. Those are the kind of like mistakes I would rather avoid. You know, like the fog in Persona 4. I'm more concerned about those kind of missing intended details rather than like the bloom or depth of field being affected by resolution.
And he didn't pull it off just by himself. He was hauled out by some old ex.
Exactly, OG version is more expensive on Steam, and it hasn't been on sale for a while.
Melchior.
Anything's better than another day on this. Let's do it.
You'll have a ship.
I don't know who that voice actor was, but he was in Hajime no Ippo.
I mean, that pirate Von Eifried's the only one who's ever broken out of here.
And he didn't pull it off just by himself. He was hauled out by some old exorcist named Melchior or something.
Von Eifried?
Which one's ahead? Which one's not?
I won't force you. You want to rot in here? Then
I wish it was easier to time this on the VLC player. Let's see.
split into two groups and rush the front and rear gates.
Yeah, now I'm kind of looking at the I'm trying to look at the outlines.
But aren't they guarded by exorcists?
Because I didn't really even notice that the characters had like cell shaded outlines.
And he didn't pull it off just
But
by
they really don't though.
He was hauled
No,
out
like
by
look at
some
her
exorcist
cloak,
named Melchior or something.
Von Eifried?
but it's only on like the one side of it anyway. No, I guess that's a pretty like.
I won't
Nah, that's not important. I don't think.
rot in here.
It's almost like an alpha effect. I don't even think that's cell shading outline. I think that's just something to do with the alpha effect.
I'm going home to my family.
Me too! Let me out,
Rogues
girl!
like us are always
I'm
up for a
sick of
kill.
the slop they feed us.
Ceres.
Let's go! We'll murder those exorcists!
Open all the doors!
That ought to draw the attention of the guards. In the meantime, we'll search for that watchtower. From there, we can follow the outer path down to the docks. So you're
I think
leaving them
HD
all
texture
together?
pack may just be the best way to describe it.
We'll use any tool I need.
That's how, because the food is bad. I think that's gonna be my way. This is HD texture pack.
You're not going to escape?
That includes all the DLC and is $10 cheaper on PC at least, and it's available in Japan.
This Abbey that's in charge of this place. They're that amazing.
Xenoblade X to get patched before beginning works on a video. Why work on a video? That's gonna be way
They've got the whole world in pocket.
longer than I want it to be.
They hunt down any human demon. Going against
Here's the thing with Xenoblade X, because it kind of bothers me how like smudgy it looks.
get captured and sent here.
When I play on my TV, I just crank the sharpness on my TV, and then it looks great.
Fed to me.
It shouldn't be like that. I really hope they do something about Xenoblade X's Switch 2 port, but my fix has been crank the sharpness on the TV all the way, and then it looks, I enjoy looking at it.
Going to run.
120 FPS support on PC? No, but it does, smooth motion does work on it. So if you want AI frame gen 120, then yeah. Smooth motion works. It doesn't crash it or anything. Is it really like 4K native on PS5? Or is the display like 1080p still? I think it is 4K. I'm pretty sure it is. It is, regardless, it will still look, yeah, it's still gonna look sharper than how it looks on PS4. Like, if you have a 4K display, it's gonna look cleaner in the remaster. Just because even at like 1080p, I feel like assets are still blurry. I looked through the menu then, look at it earlier.
Dear me, not a word of apology?
Getting better at that.
What is wrong with you people? There I was, sleeping
See,
like a
porn
small baby,
remaster.
when suddenly, from paradise down to hell! No worse, a grimy prison cell. You see why I'm not feeling well.
And you are?
Hooray! You asked! I'm thrilled to introduce to you the wise sorceress who travels the 11 seas, who scoffs at the might of dragons! None other than the acclaimed, the illustrious Majigigi Kambilu Dindo Dindo Larundu! Magilu for short.
Maggie
No, Ma, like Soggy
I think she's
Stew or
great.
Froggy Dew, or call me any of those things and I'll turn you into a froggy stew!
Most egregious mistake.
I suppose you'll
It would be hard to say because
People can
the
be
worst ones, I'm like, oh, that'll be patched. And then sometimes I learned they never were patched. So I'd have to like look back through my videos and really look at it and see like ideas that stick out to me. Before or after she was cast as Futaba? Before?
This is no ordinary prison. We must be cautious. Trust me.
Well, probably about the same time.
Powerful witch.
Pretty damn close to the same time. Oh, probably later because of how early Persona 5 was in development. No, yeah, it was probably after.
If she tries to trick me again, I'll crush her and be done with it.
So this is as far as my footage looked, and now we're going to look at the PS3 footage. Because I believe we got answers on everything we want to have with the other version anyway. So let me see, PS4 footage over here. Running on PS5, as I said, and PS3. Don't look at the other stuff on that screen. I'm also excited to take a look at this. Because the PS3 is being upscaled on the retro tank. That doesn't mean like a whole lot, but it's still better than Elgato's upscaling, essentially. It's better than what I would get out of Elgato in OBS. So I'm excited for that. FMV quality is something I had looked at because it's still censored. In that one cutscene in the prologue, yes. I love that title screen too. That title screen is so sick. This is a pretty good opening too. I look at pre-rendered quality because the PS3 had such an emphasis on its pre-rendered quality. Looking at Final Fantasy 13, right? The FMVs are perfectly fine though. The stream compression's not gonna show, but they look perfectly fine. So it's not as much of a point as I thought it would be. And fall. Yeah, close enough. All right, let's get for the one cutscene in the opening. All right. Oops, wrong one. I don't think they were gonna do it because they, as Bandai-Namco said back in... Did I get the color range wrong? Oh my god. No, I think it just is...
Men and beasts possessed by evil spirits, hunting and killing anyone they could. But even in the depths of despair,
I think I fucked up the color range and I didn't realize it. Oh great, it's like Tales of Xillia again.
and revenge upon one man.
Oh, that white is correct.
Luffy, time to wake up. Okay. Morning. I told you to stop calling me Luffy. I'm not a little kid anymore.
Grumble, grumble, huh? You must be feeling good.
Bit of a fever, I'm afraid. At least the new medicine's supposed to come today. Until then, you stay in bed, got it? What?
Looks more colorful now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm questioning that.
Sorry.
This is the first time I'm putting them together.
Can I at least read a book?
What was I saying? The censorship thing Bandai Namco back in 2017 deliberately addressed it made clear the exact quoted reason for doing it is because of age rating boards. They did not want the game to end up a higher rating. Age rating boards haven't really changed since 2017, so it's not like they were going to get the intended rating any differently this time around anyway, so.
On your own.
Arthur's first maxim.
But yeah, you can go ahead and play the game in Japanese on PS3.
All right. I shouldn't doubt my students' abilities. Sorry to put you in a spot.
I'm sorry, Velvet.
Whoa.
You got a version for you.
What apologizing for?
You know, that was easy to pick out.
Right. I'll see you later.
I whipped up some porridge for you, okay? Be back by evening.
Or if you want to get really granular, play it on PS3 in Japanese up to that point in the prologue, and then resume it on a modern console. And then tell everyone you did it. It looks worse on PS3. Yeah, it's a lower resolution. It's 720p on PS3. That being said, I'm such a fan of what the RetroTink's able to get out of that image. Like, the text UI and everything looks really good for being native 720p upscaled to... The RetroTink's upscaling it to 4K. And man, I think it's really doing a nice job. It's pirated on PC. Alright, that's fair, that's fair. I don't think it has Denuvo, right? It doesn't have Denuvo, and the mod to change that scene that we were talking about literally released like 2 hours ago.
Come to think of it, Arthur hasn't requested his favorite dinner in a while. There's been so much going on, and the village always has him out hunting.
The guy's here, yeah.
Maybe he's just worn out.
That was the remaster. If it's your first time going into it, I think pretty safe. It's a pretty straightforward story compared to what I usually do. Yeah, if you don't already have it and you're interested in it, it would probably be a good time now, especially because especially on PC, it has not been on sale in a good while because they knew they had this in the works. And the remaster's $40. OG is $50.
Famine, freezing weather, and worst of all, this demon blight that's turning people into monsters.
I can't believe that people can really turn into those.
Grace the Remaster is the only one with an Xbox port. I wonder which team did that one. If that team worked on any of the other ones.
What we do know is that when people turn into those monsters, I mean demons, they gain incredible strength and attack humans on sight.
Whoever named it the opening named it right.
Yeah, I hope they whatever they were doing with RE4 Remake, I want to replay it through sometime soon. I hope that isn't an issue.
Didn't she? It might be a good thing she died when she did. She didn't have to suffer through all of this.
It's good that my sister died?
Because they were swapping over from Denuvo to some other alternative. It looked really weird.
You're a real idiot, you know that?
I hope it doesn't have any impact.
I should probably stock up on a few things before I go into the forest. I don't have a lot of money to spare, but like Arthur always says,
Why Berseria? The team that's doing this wouldn't be doing anything else. It's not why Berseria because they would be doing another game. It's do Berseria or not at all. The only thing is with Berseria, it was not on Steam in Japan until now. This remaster is the first time that it's on Steam in Japan, and that's been a constant trend with a number of games recently, where they do get re-releases just so they can be on Steam in Japan. So make it more available, put it on Switch, even though on Switch it's capped at 30 FPS.
This area looks promising.
That's why I would call it like a house cleaning job to release this and just have it available on more platforms, really. But it's all different teams is the thing. which I think I forgot to specify that. With the Tales remasters, they're pretty much all being done by separate teams and outsourced jobs. So the team that they outsourced Berseria Remaster to would not be responsible or in charge of any other remasters otherwise. Not any of the ones you'd want to see anyway. Yeah, for DAG Incorporated, the credited developer on Steam, Tales of Berseria Remaster is literally their only game listed.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
So we'll have to see. And then there's the teams that have done the other remasters that'll be working on, like, their own, basically. You know, so the team that did Zillia 1 is probably working on Zillia 2. And there will be other teams that are gonna be handed off different games to do, like, yeah, Zestria or Abyss, maybe, down the line.
Nah, doesn't sound appetizing. What about Picklebore? Yeah, Picklebore! That's a cute name. Maybe too cute, though. We wouldn't want to discourage people from eating them.
I do hope they go back to more, but the teams that would go back to more, like the earlier ones, PS2 ones, would not have been the same devs that worked on this port. Like, on this really innocuous port remaster. Anyway, so we were talking about it's the color difference here. Now I'm really interested in this. I must have had something distracting me while I was recording. That looks like something is wrong with color range. Some kind of fog. I mean, it could be that, but it is also different depending on the area. It was back in other parts too before there was any fog. Well, what about UI? UI would be a good tell. Go ahead, Austin, do the tutorial. Where's the tutorial box? It's supposed to be an earth-shattering tutorial box. RetroTink issue? No. At least if there is an issue, it was on my settings and not the RetroTink. It's some human error.
Is that all?
I'll turn this up while I'm going through here. Come on, Austin, press the buttons. Yeah, the only version that looks like the PS3 version is the PS3 version. What I'm trying to do is get to the end of this battle and look at the UI. Because the UI color difference will tell us whether or not we're looking at a capture issue or if we're looking at the game just literally on PS3 looked like that. Then again, we said the same thing for Tales of Zillia, right? But that was a different situation because literally when the game went to white, it didn't go to white, it went to dark gray. Yeah, that looks like a capture thing. That does not look intentional. I was kind of thinking like her face in the skits. In the skits, their faces look a little blown out on PS3. I would say the PS4 is how it's supposed to look, because I think it is skin tones in the bloom get like blown out. They look overexposed, and it isn't just in 3D, it's in the assets. Zillia still has that issue with skits not appearing? Jesus Christ. I think we've really done our job here. If we've done our job, I'll just go out to the PS3, boot it up, and give it a look, and show the settings off.
Not bad.
Yeah, because it's also hard to tell because there's Bloom there. Austin saved the game. Yeah, but like I was saying, it's not just on the 3D models. You'll see it when, like, her skin here looks more blown out, like brighter.
It's forbidden land. Even Celica used to scare me with it. She was always, "This is a gateway to the underworld." Well, I'm too old to keep falling for that nonsense.
Also, yeah, we've seen here the combat on PS3 was 30 FPS. Yeah, I don't think PS3 is on purpose. We were talking about Christina's voice acting too, and I'll skip and try to show this because it'll be in Japanese. If you can't read Japanese, then it's not spoilers. I just want to show like the voice actor screams in Japanese, and you might think like, oh, Christina might have been literally listening to these screams, and that's what she was like told to go for. It starts making more sense. With like how the Japanese voice acting goes with these how hard the Japanese voice acting goes with these screams. So let me just carefully skip to where I need to. I think it is one of those cases where it's they listen to in the for English cast, they listen to the Japanese voice acting, and we're using that as a reference. Because yeah, as people are saying, Christina, and if you want to hear it in Japanese, you can. The setting's literally there, so whatever. But the English voice acting's fine. We're far, far, far from a Xenoblade 2 situation with this game. Very far from Xenoblade 2.
Agreed. It's one of her virtues as well. Yes, I know.
But yeah, it could be a preference, and I think that scene in the prologue will be a good determining factor of whether or not you want to keep playing in Japanese or English.
Arthur's fourth maxim. Never let your guard down, even when victorious.
Got it.
In any case,
Rexley. He was fine later. It's not on Rex, it was on just Xenoblade 2's unfortunate circumstances when it had to be rushed, frankly. You know? Yeah, it was lack of direction because Xenoblade 2 was their first time trying to do simultaneous release. They were not prepared. They did not have the pipeline to do that. So it was rushed with voice acting and its localization. It's a VA direction issue. Yeah, because the same actors can literally do fine elsewhere, and in Xenoblade 3 they did fine again.
That's the cold logic of the world.
And Xenoblade 1 is perfectly fine too, yeah.
Do you think I could become an exorcist?
Let's see.
Why is it you think that birds fly?
So let me see here. Yeah, I'm gonna let's take a look at and see if I fucked up my PS3 footage here. I'm gonna cut to the BRB here. I'm gonna go set up the PS3. And I'll be back in like a minute or two. after I go set that up, and then I'll be back once the capture card's all good to go. But otherwise, the comparisons are we got the comparisons out of the way. We talked about what we needed to, so everyone can stick around and chill for a little bit because we'll still be talking and doing little things. But yeah, otherwise, if you're here for the comparison and see any of that, we got that out of the way, so you're good there. So anyway, I'll be back in just 1 minute as I set up the PS3, and we'll look at the footage. We'll look at it there through the capture card. Oh, here in the living room chat. Did I hit the mute button? I don't know. I can't see chat right now or anything. I'm just talking on the mic I have out in the other room. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me, chat. Oh, right, I forgot I only linked the YouTube stream. Or Twitch stream. I'll just make sure. Oh, good, you could hear me. Okay. Here. Alright, we're looking at the PS3 footage here. Let me bring this into the other one. Everything good, chat? You hear me? You hear the game? This is the PS3 version. I'm gonna go back down the hall as I set this up. Okay. Yeah, you hear me. Okay. Let's see. First thing I found great with PS3 on the retro tank. Going down to here. Change the upscaling from bilinear sharp. The Lance Coast 3. I think that looks best. What about that color? Trying to get out of the menu for now. Oh yeah, I forgot chat is on that layout too. Welcome, chat. It ends up different with Xenoblade in particular, because those are, for a lot of European voiced video games, it is a lot of those actors' first games. Because usually with European voice actors in video games, they're theatrically trained. They have stage acting backgrounds. They have more acting credits for Doctor Who than they do video games. That's also why they're really good. They're not used to voice acting. They're used to actual, like, physical, full body acting, stage presence, and everything. And they're literally theatrically trained. So Rex's situation literally comes down to voice direction and how rushed it was. Is this port useless? If you already own the game, and you don't mind how it looks, because the remaster is just like sharp, it's a high resolution texture pack. If you own the original game and you want a high resolution texture pack, you can get the remaster. If you don't already own it, you might as well get the remaster, or wait for it on sale, because it'll probably start going on sale again. Have the old copy. Yeah, the assets and everything in the remaster are higher resolution. That's about what you're looking for. What was I looking for? What's the controller? The PS3 controller's not holding a charge anymore. So again, this is the PS3 version right now. It's looking fine to me. I don't see the blown out look we were seeing before. What I want to do is get to a skit. And then once we get to the skit and we see the portrait, it'll be a lot easier to judge. Or the results screen of battle. This still does look more colorful though. Maybe if I can get the battle result, whichever comes first. Skit or battle result. I'd wait for a sale then. Because, like we were saying, the original game right now... I didn't pause. Whoa, why did I pause? That was weird. The original game right now, or like prior to the remaster, was $20 on PSN. But on Steam, it has been $50 and it has not been going on sale for a while. The remaster's $40. And I would believe, oh damn it, they didn't put it on sale for a while because they knew they had a remaster coming out. So it was just like, hold off until you get the remaster out, if you didn't already have it. Yeah, that works. That's not looking blown out to me now, right? Man. Oh, sorry, you still had that music been playing the whole time. Do you hear the game chat? Oh, yes, you do. I know why I don't hear it. That's okay. Play PS4 version on PS5. Very low. I know it's low. I can turn it up some. If you have like a 4K display, you will get an advantage out of it. It will look sharper. The assets they use are higher resolution. But that would depend if if the original's still on sale or not. Also, all that DLC included. It looks well, I still think the color is... I don't know. Let me just change the color range and see what it looks like. Back in the building. Actually, yeah, this works, because it was not this dark before. So let's go ahead and see. I wonder if that's a separate setting for the RetroTink, actually, when it comes to HDMI receiver. Oh, damn it. Okay, let me go back. HDMI output, set that back to full. RetroTink 4K is an incredible upscaler. I'd be happy to show it off. The idea behind it is being the go-to premium, it's a luxury item, upscaler for any kind of analog input signal you can throw at it. And the highest tier 1 also has an HDMI input and can upscale 720 and even 1080 HDMI inputs up to 4K. So it is upscaling the PS3's 720p up to 4K with what would be better upscaling tech than what your TV would be capable of or what Elgato and OBS are capable of. If you're that granular for it, at least. The cheaper options they have don't have HDMI, they just have the benefits for other consoles, but anyway. So back here. I go here. That's more options than I thought there would be. Yeah, look at that. When I set it to full, that's a little closer to what we were seeing on PS4 in the remaster. You know, I already re-recorded all of my PS3 and PS4 footage because I forgot to record the audio for them. And you know, but this is the point it happens in where it's like, oh man, all my PS3 footage, I gotta throw it out because I recorded it without HDMI range, without the right one. So, what are we testing? The HDMI range for my footage from, my PS3 footage. My PS3 footage looked off from my PS4 footage. I spent a whole good beginning of the stream talking about the PS4 to the remaster. So I figured after we do that, we'll look back at the PS3 version. Because the PS3 version was Japanese only, so it isn't like a big focus in the first place anyway. Let's see. It can upscale PC inputs, yes. I do technically have my PC hooked up to it. But it also does VGA inputs. How do you tell what a game should look like it versus change due to your TV setup? Usually the comparison helps. Like, it became apparently obvious today because we saw the literal footage of how the game looked in its color and brightness on PS4 and in the remaster, and then we booted up the PS3 and we saw a difference, and it was like, wait, why does that look so different? And if you know something about HDMI color range, that's when it starts to stick out. That it's like, hold on, there's a setting with HDMI range that's off right now. That doesn't look right. It's supposed to probably match what those are. And in many cases, it is just change an HDMI setting like that. In other cases, like with Tales of Xillia, it's not, and the PS3 game just looked like that for some reason. But anyway, here, let me go back out in the hall and start moving around and see. If you had nothing else for reference, I've started to be able to pick up on it because if it's apparent that a game should be fading to white, you'll realize something is wrong when it actually isn't going as white as it should. The same as when a game fades to black, but it's actually fading to gray instead of black. And it's like, wait, something's wrong there. The black levels aren't going all the way. Something is wrong there. The white levels aren't going up all the way either. So that's when it starts, you have to see something like that and it has to stick out for you to start noticing it. You can completely tell otherwise, I found, with opening an image that would have the what should have like a good range of colors and gradients and values. Open it up in Photoshop, something that will let you see the levels, the color levels of the image for like something that would let you adjust levels. DaVinci Resolve also lets you do it. Take a screenshot, open it in Resolve, and if something is off with the HDMI color range, you will see in the levels that a whole portion of the left or the right side of it is just gone. Like all of the color information that should be in the lower section is just not there. And usually it's because it's being squished up higher, so you'll see like really tall bars peak before the actual edge. And it goes on a scale between 0 to 255. If it doesn't go to 0 and it doesn't go all the way to 255, then something is wrong. And you'll know that if it's like peaking or clipping all the way up early. Yeah, let me look at this now. Let me read this up. I muted the hallway mic, so... Okay. PC ported Persona 5. Yeah, I did, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's in the port reveal. Okay, let me see here. So I want to get my footage. Alright, back in my footage. Alright. Oh yeah. Yep, so all my PS3 footage, this is not how the game is supposed to look, with it being that more saturated dark colors, so don't throw all that PS3 footage out. No, the PS3 version did not have any difference in color values. Okay, now we address that. Alright. Alright, I think I've addressed everything there that I wanted to. And do between PC version and like the OG from Remaster. Like I was saying, it has nice quality of life features that are in the more recent Tales remasters. Like you start with the grade shop right from the beginning. The objective marker shows up physically on screen, optional. There's one to just show all of the maps before you've actually been to them. So you know everywhere to go in dungeons and for example. It has features like that. Visually, it's like an upgrade. It's just like an HD texture pack. Because it's still like supporting the same resolutions, just the assets for it and the anti-aliasing are better and higher resolution. That's really what it comes down to. And the original version has not been on sale really, or is available for as affordable of a price, probably because they knew they had this remaster coming. So to anyone that like is playing first time, it's more. Also, it also comes with a bunch of DLC. It comes with the outfit DLC besides the licensed Idolmaster stuff. So it includes more DLC, and that's a lot more for the price, even if you don't end up using the outfits anyway. But yeah, that's it on that. I didn't really have anything else I was gonna do tonight. Tomorrow, I might do Resident Evil 9, as I was given a code for that. So it'll just be it won't be on YouTube. If I stream that, it'll be on Twitch. I might do it on YouTube just because they gave me the code. Since they gave that to me, maybe I should do it on YouTube anyway. A ton of censorship, is that true? No, not at all. One scene in the prologue from the original Japanese PS3 to PS4. No. There was from Capcom, from Bandai Namco's own mouth back in 2017. Nothing. They deliberately left everything as is intact except for that one scene because of Peggy rating board. All right, I'm done talking about all that. Thanks everyone for watching. I will be back. Pokemon Leaf Green, maybe we'll do and talk about that tomorrow too. But yeah, we'll see. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, thank you for the continued support and good night.